Should I go for Jivan Mukti or should I go for Krama Mukti? That is answered in verse 17. Angushthamatrav purushaha. No. Angushthamatrav purushontaraatma sada jananam hridaye sannivishtaha tam swat sharirat pravrhen munjadi veshikam dhairyena tam vidyat shukram amritam tam vidyat shukram amritam iti angushthamatrav purushontaraatma sada jananam hridaye sannivishtaha tam swat sharirat pravrhen munjadi veshikam dhairyena tam vidyat shukram amritam tam vidyat shukram amritam iti. When a line repeats, that is the conclusion. The teaching, the final advice is given, its conclusion. So the last mantra gets repeated. So he says here, Angushta matraha purushaha. The truth which is of the size of the thumb in the heart, antaratma, which is sitting in your heart, sada jananam hridaye sannivishtaha. It always is with you as chaitanyam, as consciousness. The truth is with you as consciousness. And being always with you, ever seated in every human being, then what needs to be done? You need courage. Dhairyena. You need courage. What courage? You need courage to do pancha kosha viveka. You need courage to retrieve that consciousness. You need to separate the impermanent, the permanent from the impermanent. I am a mix of both. I see myself as impermanent, but the permanent is here. And so, retrieve that permanent from the impermanent by discrimination, by separating, like munjadi veshikam, like how you separate, there is a long grass, a blade of grass, and inside is the fresh blade, and you can separate, you can remove that top cover to see the inside. When you remove, you cannot be rough, you have to be gentle. You have to do it with diligence. You cannot be rough and in a hurry and so on. So, being able to retrieve the consciousness from matter with which you are so identified, it is a process. It is a learning. It takes time. And therefore one must have patience, one must have dhairyam, one must have diligence, one must not be negligent, one needs to be alert to live an awareful life with the truth. And therefore he says, swat sharirat, from one's own physical body, separate the consciousness. From one's own subtle body, separate the consciousness. From one's own causal body, separate the consciousness. Which is what we've been doing in the teachings, aren't we? We talked about the seeker and the seen. And in the process, what were we doing? We were separating the consciousness. We talked about 3 states of experiences, waking, dream and deep sleep. What were we doing? We were pointing out that I am the 4th and not these experiences. Each experience limits the other, but I am the experiencer of all of them. Like this, we separate I, the consciousness, from the experiences, from the 5-layered matter that has layered itself on top of consciousness, as though, so retrieving Munjadi Veshikam Swat Sharirat, from one's own body, one distinguishes consciousness from one's own body. And in this way, you carefully recognize that I am that. You carefully recognize, slowly and carefully. Bhagavad Gita uses a beautiful expression, Shanai Shanairu Paramet Bhaktya Dhriti Grihitaya Atma Samstham Manak Kritva Nakinchidapi Chintayet. He says slowly, don't be in a hurry. Gently retrieve your consciousness from your thought system. Shanaihi means gradually. It's always gradual, then only it's graceful. Don't become so spiritual that you break down everybody around you. You know. Sometimes we are over enthusiastic. So much that nobody can relate to me. My own family members I get alienated from. It doesn't work. The whole journey is to embrace, not to alienate. And therefore, there needs to be kindness to oneself and others in this journey. There needs to be patience. There needs to be forgiveness. This is all part of the package of a spiritual life. And therefore, he says, Tam vidya shukram amritam. So, tam vidya shukram amritam. Know that knowledge to be shukram, pure, that knowledge is pure, unpolluted. That consciousness, that infinite light, which is you, is ever untouched, unpolluted.